Welcome to the French Drayman channel. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood. We're going to show you a complete installation from beginning to end, all the way around the home, a full roof runoff system. All right, so the old system, the grass grew right over it. We see this all the time. Then we end up finding it. When the guys take the sod cutter, they find it. This here was a grate system. They had a green grate, 4-inch grate, and the grass just grew right over it. The guys just cut the sod off, put it aside so we can put in a new system. I don't care for the grate system because it's not convenient for the homeowner to reach in and clean it out. That's why, we have a pop-up where you can just flip it up, reach in, clean out any leaves, any debris. This here was blocking this system from working, all because when somebody put it in, they just thought a 4-inch grate, no different than a little 4-inch pop-up, would be enough. But the grass grows right over it. One of the things to consider when you're installing a roof runoff system, do you want to put in clean out wise right up at the house? That's going to be a little more work for the DIYer. You have to be willing to cut down your gutter downspout as well as deal with the steel band that keeps it attached to the house. We'll go over that a little more in detail, and I'll show you some things to look out for. We're going to be using the Royal Blue high octane armor pipe along with our pop-up and our basins with the turf restrictor plate. Now we're going to put 4 drops on one line. The old system did not have any catch basins. When you don't have any catch basins on the line, you're going to have shingle gravel in the line. The catch basin allows for the shingle gravel to fall into a lower point. It'll find it. It'll find all those low points, all the catch basins in line. But look at all the shingle gravel that was in the system. Now here's a smooth wall, smooth interior 90. You can see from the water hitting this 90 and slowing down at the 90, the shingle gravel has built up on a smooth interior 90. You can see there's quite a bit of shingle gravel in there. That's why it's a great idea to have catch basins. You want to be able to have a low point for the shingle gravel to fall in and collect. And then you can just suck it out with a wet dry vac or reach in with a glove and just scoop it out bi-yearly if you have a newer roof, yearly if you have an older roof losing a lot of shingle gravel. Now the line that's going to have 4 drops on it, we're going to have 2 downspouts picked up that are inside the walkway, and then we're going to go underneath the walkway and grab another 2. The more water that you can run through a line, the cleaner it will remain. That's our goal here. Our goal is to create a system where we don't have too many fittings, and you got to be careful with the fittings. You want to make sure that you minimize the amount of 90s. Try to not use any T's and use plenty of Y fittings. Anywhere you have to hook into another line, merge 2 lines into one, you want to use a Y fitting. I can't emphasize this enough. The Y fitting doesn't slow the water down. It keeps the velocity of the water up. So you're not going to have problems with these areas that just end up collecting debris. You want to keep the water flowing. Okay, DIYers, pay attention to this one. This is a clean out Y at the house. Now we sell our roof runoff kits, our downspout kits with just a black riser that you can cut to fit so you don't have to cut the aluminum downspout gutter. I can't blame any DIYer that doesn't want to mess with cutting down their downspouts, removing the aluminum strap that is fastened to the house and holds it tight to the house and having to relocate that, move that up at a higher elevation. Now this downspout clean out that we also sell as an upgrade with the kit, we just had to cut the riser completely down. You can see that the gutter adapter is sitting right in the Y, and it just still barely fits. So even when you do this every day, you have to finagle it. You have to work a little at it, for sure. This is a really, really tight fit, and we have this Y configuration cut down as small as we possibly can get it. All right, so if you're willing to put that work in, I will tell you this, you'll love having a Y clean out because you can just run a garden hose and you can push it through your system, and you're just going to absolutely love the peace of mind that that gives you, and you're going to be able to get all the shingle gravel into the D boxes. We have these inline basins that are just collecting all that shingle gravel, and it's super easy to maintain when you just push a garden hose through, and then when you're done, you just go ahead and scoop whatever shingle gravel fell into that catch basin, inline, hybrid vented catch basin that we're now selling and building. So this has turned out great. We started at a nice high elevation here at the very first downspout. We have slope to the second one. We tie that in with a Y fitting, and then we go underneath the walk where we grab up another downspout on a Y fitting. All right, so we're getting ready to tie in the fourth and final downspout on this run. People always ask, how many downspouts can you put on one line? 4 drops per line, and I encourage it. If you can get 2, 3, or 4, the more water you push through the line, the better. It's good to put the Y fittings on the ground and put some pipe there as well, so you can cut the grass out and then go ahead and dig it out to where it's going to go together really nice and easy. I think this is how a lot of guys end up using tees because they don't take the time to do that, and they just come straight off a downspout right into a line. And of course, a tee is going to do that for you. I strongly suggest that you do not use any tees. The water just slams to a stop, and it's just an area where the shingle gravel just falls and just ends up building up. So you can see here, Francisco has a Y fitting, and then shortly thereafter is an inline catch basin. Has a really nice sump for all the shingle gravel to fall in. It's a really deep sump, and it'll hold a lot of shingle gravel. He's then going to use the super sticky, super stretchy tile tape that gives you that great connection, and roots can't penetrate the system. Right now, the guys are cutting the pipe to the catch basin and line catch basin here. You can see that sometimes it helps to have a second set of hands. It goes together super easy. It doesn't get any easier, and the connections are really good connections too. It's unlike a lot of the things on the market where you put the pipe in it and it just kind of like falls out of there, and then it's really, really hard to keep it together. So we put fabric underneath that catch basin, and then we're just going to put stone so this can leach and it won't hold no water. That's the idea here. You can see the guys then close that up. They breeder wrap that stone, pin it. Here we're going to show you another one, and I want to show this for a couple of reasons. The big reason is there's a riser on that. That had to be raised to be taller, and I'll tell you why. If you lift the catch basin, the inline catch basin up to get it flush with the grass, what did you just do? When you raise the catch basin, you lift the line. Now water's got to go uphill. You lose the slope. Now you created a belly on the other side of that, and you're going to end up with a big trap for all the shingle, gravel, leaves, and debris. So this was the sole purpose of me videoing this, was the fact that this had to have a riser put on this inline catch basin. You can see the guys did their stone and their fabric, breeder wrapped it, and they're putting the native soil back on top. You know, this is a clay job, so you can see how just, well, chunky the soil is, and the guys really have to work at taking the shovels and breaking this up and stepping on this and pushing it, you know, between the pipes, trying to get rid of those air pockets so that we don't get no saddling. Look at the gutter on that one run. That one was on a pipe all by itself, by the way. That was just way too much rooftop. There's going to be a lot of water coming out of that one. The guys are building a dry well for the pop-up. The pop-up emitter is a dry well. The pop-up won't even pop up initially during a rain event until everything is super saturated. This is made like this by design so that when the rain event is over with, this dry well can leach the water away quickly and there's no water left behind for mosquitoes and just for that pungent odor. And if you live in the north, you don't want water left behind, because then you end up with a pop-up that's frozen block of ice in the wintertime, and it will not work. So when you build them like this, they're a mini dry well with a sump in the bottom, and they also are a catch basin. So you can open them up and you can grab leaves and debris, big items that have found their way into that sump. So the guys are doing a great job taking that clay and busting it up. I'm going to give you guys some more advice right now. Don't open up any more trench than what you can close in a day. When the clay dries, it's not as easy to work with. It digs so much easier when it has moisture in it, and then you can work with it and you can pack it with your boot. Boy, things are really looking good here. It came together really nice. The guys did a really great job. Here's another inline catch basin, vented catch basin right here. Beautiful. Just quick work of it. All right, so now we're going to be on the side of the driveway where we had another line that had the grass grown right over it. We're going to extend it. I want to get this away from the driveway. Don't dump your water right by the driveway. So we're going to put in our inline catch basin to grab up any shingle, gravel, and debris. We're going to run this. I want to be, 15 feet off that cement. Just get the water away. All right, inline catch basin being added to where there once was a downspout that just terminated here. The problem was the water couldn't get out of the backyard. It was caught between landscape beds. I'm going to show you what you do in a case like this. You guys ask me all the time, how far do I run a roof runoff system? How far do I take the pop-up emitter out? And I always say to you guys, as far as you have to. And I get criticized for saying that. There's no set rule to how many feet you have to go. You go as far as you have to go. Now look, we dug through a berm to get the water out of this yard so it wouldn't just hang around and pool in an area. It was trapped between landscape beds. You do whatever it takes to get the water out of there. You go as far as you have to get it away from structures. Look at this beautiful, real nice work. Nice pop-up here, mini dry well. Also, another thing to think about, don't dump the water right by a fence. What happens is you have a fence post with concrete, a footer. If you put that pop-up right there, you're going to super saturate that soil. Come winter, the frost is going to travel down that super saturated soil so much faster than it would if it was drier, and it's just going to heave, popping those fence posts like toothpicks, just lifting them. And then the fence just ends up really wavy and wonky and just out of whack. And there, is another problem for the homeowner to deal with. So we're getting the water away from everything. We went through the landscape. We didn't take the easy route. We dug through a berm and a bunch of roots. We're using the high octane armor pipe. You can just see when the guys are working with this, just how strong it is. You can just tell by the behavior of the material. It don't behave like normal pipe. I mean, it is just crazy. Heavy, thick sidewall. Took it right through that berm and got the water out of the yard. So in this case, that's a 40-foot run. You guys might think that's a little excessive, but that's what it took to do it right. Now we're going to build a little dry well here for the pop-up. I love this pop-up catch basin sump. This is really, really neat. This is how you keep a pop-up emitter from holding water. Very important. Use a couple of bags of pea stone. Make sure that you have a lot of pea stone. Put it up and around the pop-up emitter. Go ahead and wrap that, burrito wrap that, so the soil doesn't end up filling the voids of that drainage stone. And you can always leach what's ever in that pop-up after a rain event. After the bulk water has been moved, then that pop-up emitter can slowly leach what's ever left inside it. That way you don't have any standing water in your system. All right, this turned out really nice. We got water put in its place for sure. Heading down to a retention pond. That's doing it right the first time. Unfortunately, this system's probably been done a couple of times. You can see just how beautiful this work looks. Come on, give this crew a thumbs up, man. They didn't deserve it? Are you kidding me? Look at this. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Really nice work. So here's a house built up on a pretty good grade. You can see they have plenty of slope, crazy slope. But when the grass grows over top of your grate and or your pop-up, you're done. The number one cause to flooded basements is when the grass grows over your roof runoff system. That's why we built a pop-up with a big turf restrictor plate. The grass can't just that easily grow up and over this. We also have a turf restrictor plate around our vented catch basin. That way you'll always be able to find it to clean the shingle gravel out. It's a nightmare to try to locate these once the grass grows over it. And then, of course, if you're willing to put the time into it, you won't regret it. Having a clean out up at the house just makes things easier. All right, everybody. Until that next video.